Gets lying around. I never check them. I should. But you know what?
1.4 mil.
It all goes to the schools. That's good.
Could be the trash somewhere.
Gia Vang joins us now with what's coming up next.
Well, right now at 6, clearing dozens of unhoused people from a San Jose park. Some have lived there rather for years, but where will they go next?
Also, here's a new twist: immigration enforcement and those masked agents. The new push to change how officers from all agencies operate here in California. And how about this? Trump Mobile. Yes, it could be coming soon. The president's business arm unveiling a phone plan and a new gold-covered smartphone. Our Scott Budman has the details. The News at 6 starts right now. Good evening and thanks for being with us on this Monday. I'm Raj Mathai.
And I'm Gia Vang. One of San Jose's largest encampments got much smaller today. Crews spent much of the day sweeping out people living near Columbus Park. It comes despite big objections from advocates for the unhoused. NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau was there, and she was the first reporter there as crews got to work.
You can see here that city crews are tearing down lean-to shelters, taking down tents. About 200 people are estimated to live in this encampment, and many tell us they now have no idea where they'll live next. As city crews began tearing down makeshift structures, those who live here near Columbus Park scrambled to grab their belongings and move out.
They told me that we got 10 minutes to get our stuff out.
Todo lo tengo allí y ya pues empezaron a tirar todo.
Mario Hernandez says he lost his livelihood in the sweep. He says the merchandise he sells at flea markets is now gone, leaving him with only the few items he was able to quickly stuff in a trash can. An estimated 200 people live here, some say for several years. Now they find themselves once again on the move with no clear destination. Sean White, who's among the unhoused, tells us he's recovering from back surgery and dealing with other medical issues. He says watching crews destroy his home is frustrating.
I've lived here for 2 years and I'm going to be downtown on the sidewalk like everybody else.
In an interview last week, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan said the city would do its best to help those displaced during the sweep.
We abate encampments for public safety reasons all the time. We can't always offer housing or shelter. We do our best to coordinate large abatements with offers of shelter and other services.
The city says it plans to add another 800 shelter beds by the end of the year. But without those beds available now, many here question why they're being removed now.
It is just really very frustrating because, like I said, we mind our own business. We don't cause no trouble.
Once the sweep is complete, the city plans to turn this area back into a community park with soccer fields and picnic tables, and are also turning their sights toward another nearby encampment. This section of Columbus Park is expected to be swept by the city next month. In San Jose, Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
In less than 24 hours, President Trump and Governor Newsom will clash in court yet again. It's over the National Guard being deployed in California during the anti-ICE protests. Attorney General Rob Bonta says the troops could be used elsewhere and that local law enforcement is already handling the situation. In court papers, President Trump says military forces would be used strictly to protect federal personnel and federal buildings. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will hold a hearing tomorrow afternoon in San Francisco. A controversial proposal by California lawmakers in response to these recent immigration enforcement policies. Today, State Senators Scott Wiener and Jesse Arreguín announced the No Secret Police Act. They announced it outside of San Francisco City Hall. It's a push to require law enforcement, including federal agents, to show stronger identification like uniforms or other identifiers. The bill would also ban them from covering their faces. Now, federal agents, including ICE agents, are primarily bound by federal immigration law, no state law, when performing their duties. So this legislation faces an uphill battle.
We have those state versus federal interactions, and that's certainly an issue here that will be a topic of conversation. But we think it is important for California to step up to protect public safety and the safety of our communities.
The proposal comes after a weekend of nationwide protests against the president's policies, including immigration. Opponents of the bill argue ICE agents have already faced harassment and doxing, and that covering their face protects both themselves and their families. The bill is expected to face a final vote by September 15th.
Not backing down, Senator Alex Padilla says he'll continue to raise questions about the president and his administration. The Democrat is pushing back against the administration's version of what led up to this scene right here last week when federal agents forcibly removed him from a news conference and put him in handcuffs. Homeland Security claims agents thought he was an attacker who'd burst into the room, but the senator says he was there for 5 to 10 minutes before that incident you're watching and that he just wanted to ask Secretary Noem why troops were in LA.
We're going to continue to raise our voices. We're going to continue to shed light because I'm doing my job, asking questions, obtaining information, holding this administration accountable.
Meanwhile, the partisan debate over what happened continues, with the Republican Speaker of the House now suggesting Congress should formally censure the senator for his actions.
As people across the Bay Area celebrate Pride Month, an act of vandalism outside of a church in the East Bay is angering and upsetting a lot of people. Someone vandalized the church's Pride banner. NBC's Jody Hernandez spoke with members of the LGBTQ community who say it's simply the sign of the times.
One of the things that we are unequivocal about in my congregation is that people of all genders, all orientations are absolutely welcome here.
That's the philosophy of Pleasant Hill's Church of the Resurrection, where everyone is welcome. So when the priest discovered someone slashed the church's Pride banner on Saturday, it was jarring.
Initially, I had hoped that it was just maybe the wind had broken them, but when I came closer, I saw that it was definitely the work of a knife. It had been lots of curves. It was clearly a violent act.
Reverend Liz Titchener says she was hurt that someone would take aim at the LGBTQ community, but not altogether surprised. She says there's been a shift in the cultural climate.
This kind of hatred is condoned, maybe even encouraged in a way that has not been acceptable, and I'm frankly horrified that this can happen here.
It's just like, when does it end? You know, when does the hatred end?
Robin Kuslitz, past president of Concord's Rainbow Community Center, says the LGBTQ community feels under attack. From sports to military service, she says the community is under fire.
I think during our time right now, politically, I think it's something we expect at this point.
Reverend Titchener's congregation cheered when they learned how the priest immediately reacted. She and her kids went right to work repairing the banner with rainbow tape and a white Sharpie.
What we believe is that God loves everyone and that there is space for everyone, and duct tape and love go a long way.
In Pleasant Hill, Jody Hernandez, NBC Bay Area News.
Shot and killed while walking his dog. San Leandro police are investigating the city's first homicide of the year. Someone found the man around 8:30 Saturday morning. He was lying on his back with his dog still leashed to his hand. It happened in the area of Euclid Avenue and East 14th Street, a mostly commercial area. Investigators say they don't have any information regarding a possible motive, but do not believe there's an ongoing threat to the community.
Well, thankfully, homicides are not very common in San Leandro. This is the first homicide of the year. Last year we had 4, and I think 6 the year before that. So, you know, we average maybe about 4 to 5 homicides a year. So these are not common occurrences.
Police have not identified the man, but say he appeared to be in his 40s. The victim's dog did not appear to be injured and was taken to a temporary shelter.
Up next, a popular San Francisco bakery broken into, the unique way thieves got into the business in the Castro.
Plus, the second whale to wash ashore in Contra Costa County in a matter of days. But we're learning about a disturbing trend in the Bay Area.
And right now, 76 degrees in Walnut Creek, but later this week, we could be seeing the return of 90s in the forecast there. How long the heat sticks around when we come right back.
Tonight, we'll show you the arsenal of weapons police say they found connected to the suspect who targeted those politicians in Minnesota, and the woman who says she spotted him and called police. Plus, the revolt over tourists in Europe, protesters even spraying visitors with water guns. When we join you in the West for Nightly News.
Maggie wants more without spending more, so she got Blink Mini 2 cameras to help her see more.
Oh no.
watch more. And do more. Blink and get more.
Okay, would you get rid of your iPhone for a Trump phone? Yes, the president is trying to sell you a phone, a Trump-branded phone. We don't know what it's going to look like, but the product shown on the company website or the website appears to be an iPhone. But a news release says the smartphone will be an Android. Starting price, about $500. The Trump organization also says it's going to sell you, or try to sell you, a phone plan to compete with AT&T and Verizon. That phone plan reportedly will cost $47.45 per month, a reference to him being the 47th and 45th president. We reached out to the Trump organization for comment, but did not hear back.
If this is seen as a signal of allegiance and support, I suspect that when we have, if we end up having a product rather than an announcement, then we might start seeing those gold phones in Congress, and that the privacy and security implications at that point would be truly severe.
Okay, there's a whole lot of questions here about what's happening. Our business and tech reporter Scott Butt is here. So we have a Trump Bible, Trump hats, Trump steaks, Trump a lot of things. Sure. A phone now. Is it within the legal parameters here to do this?
Yeah, you know, those questions have been asked a long time, since 2016. And yeah, we've been seeing Bibles, we've been seeing shoes, now phones. Apparently it is, because there is this family organization. Yeah. So there is a little distance, but it's a Trump branded phone. It's called the T1. Due out sometime in September. And interestingly enough, as you said yourself, Raj, on the website, that's clearly an iPhone, but it's
looks
going
like
to be
my
an
iPhone.
Android phone. Right. So they're not giving away what it's going to look like yet.
Okay, so you said Android. So is it surprising that it's going to be running and operating on this Android, or?
You know, a little bit, only because it's interesting. There was a lot of back and forth between Apple and Trump that seemed friendly. Tim Cook, the CEO, donated $1 million to the inauguration after Trump's election. Apple said, we will pledge $500 billion to do business in America. A lot of back and forth, but there's still back and forth. Apple said, we won't make the iPhone in America. We're going to make it in China and India. President Trump very angry on that on social media. This could be a shot across the bow against Apple. Who knows? But who knows about any of this at this point?
Can he take a little market share away from you? We mentioned 4 companies there: Apple, Google, AT&T, Verizon, in terms of the phone plans. Can he take even just a little chunk of their business here?
The guess is a little chunk, not a whole bunch, but he does have a really strong base of supporters who will buy certain things. Look at the cryptocurrency that his family is selling. That's selling very well. I don't think the shoes are selling well, or the Bibles, to be honest, are selling well. But a phone, maybe. It would be a status symbol to say, I'm part of MAGA, I'm part of this group, I believe in this, I'm loyal to the president, whether you're a politician or just a supporter. And so I imagine some of this will sell. And at $499, that's actually a pretty decent price for a fully functional smartphone these days.
Yeah, and when's the expected debut of this?
September.
September. We'll be
Can't
talking
wait to see him in the wild.
We'll be talking to you in September.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Let's move on now. The owners of a popular French bakery in San Francisco say they've been broken into again. In fact, by their count, this is the 7th time they've been broken into in the Castro since the beginning of the pandemic. Here's NBC's Sergio Quintana.
The co-owner of La Marais Cafe says their Castro neighborhood location is one of their most popular. Unfortunately, it's been a favorite target for burglars, too. Patrick Ascaso says Friday night's culprits got in using a method he hasn't seen before.
I don't know how they did, but the glass was basically melted, and then they broke through the glass and took the tablets and left.
Ascaso says he does have security cameras inside the restaurant, but it was too dark to see anyone once they got in. They say part of the frustration is how many times their business has been targeted. In fact, one of the reasons why this weekend's bandits didn't make off with more than tablets is because during the last break-in several months ago, the thieves stole their basement safe. Over the last several months, the police and mayor have noted the drop in crime in the city, but that's not easy to digest for people who are victims of crimes that keep happening. David Burke is the police liaison for Supervisor Raphael Mandelman. He says the best way to prevent these incidents is to make businesses tougher to break into and make it easier for the police to identify the culprits.
Make it more difficult for people to come back and do this again. And some of those things that are as simple as better lighting, cameras, and burglar alarms.
We're told replacing the tempered glass window at the Castro Street location will cost hundreds of dollars and take a while. The cafe owners are also considering adding wood shutters, like the ones at their Sutter Street location, which seem to be helping there.
For the last 2 years, we have not had one.
Wow,
So
they've been that
definitely-
effective.
Yeah, they have been very effective. Yeah. Where in the past we will have this window broken, every 6 months.
He's just checking with the landlord at the Castro location to make sure they can do it. In San Francisco, Sergio Quintana, NBC, Bay Area News.
Well, we've showed you this before. It is sad. It seems like it's happening all too often. A second dead gray whale has washed ashore in Richmond. This latest one showed up on Saturday. This comes after another one was discovered 2 days ago, just about 100 meters away at Richmond's Point Isabel regional shoreline. Marine mammal experts say about 20 whales have washed up dead in the Bay Area this year. They say several of them were likely struck by ships or other vessels. This week, researchers are performing necropsies to determine how the most recent whales died. Well, fire crews are gaining the upper hand on a brush fire burning in Sunol right now. The Sunol Mission fire sparked around 2 this afternoon near Mission and Andrade Roads. The fire has burned at least 70 acres, but is now 25% contained. Good news, firefighters say forward progress has stopped. No homes or structures were threatened.
Okay, Rob Mayetta is here to talk about our weekend.
We can look forward to
weekend break. Yeah, it's Monday, so we just got out of the
Is the weekend coming up anytime soon?
We're excited because it'll be the first weekend of summer, right?
There we go.
And we got some cooler temperatures on the way later this week. But speaking of summer, we're going to see a warm-up coming in over the next couple of days. 80s and 90s back in reach for the valleys starting as early as tomorrow. After today was a little bit of a cool down around the Bay Area. Right now, comfortable, 71 degrees in San Jose, and wind generally 15 to 20 miles per hour. Similar wind speeds and temperatures as you head over to Walnut Creek. This is likely to be one of the cooler evenings we see this time tomorrow. I think we'll be seeing 80s, and then by Wednesday, good chance of low 90s around Walnut Creek. San Rafael right now, 68 degrees. Wind directions out of the southeast. That's bringing in some of that cooler air up from the bay into the North Bay. And notice San Francisco still stuck in the 50s. It's sunny out there, but it's not exactly warm when that wind out of the west at 16 miles per hour is moving over ocean water temperatures, which are still about 53 degrees west of the Golden Gate. So you can see the footprint of 50s and 60s, that ocean air conditioning effect that we're seeing around the inner bay, mostly 70s inland today. But as these wind speeds back off a little bit across our inland areas and that marine air kind of gets compressed back down towards the inner bay, that'll lead to a rise in temperatures for tomorrow. Also notice sunny skies in San Francisco, no low clouds along the coast. We're likely to be low cloud free as we start off the morning with sunny skies even on the coast, hazy sunshine inland. So tomorrow the trend begins with 50s in the morning, and then by around noon we're starting to break out to some low 80s in those East Bay valleys, mid 80s to upper 80s in reach around the North Bay. Interior portions of the East Bay still 60s and 70s from San Francisco to Oakland. But here you go. Look at Wednesday. 70s and 80s Bayside, mid 80s around downtown San Jose, and 90s in reach around the Tri-Valley up towards the North Bay and Morgan Hill. And just like that, as we look forward to next weekend, we've got some cooling changes. The wind picks back up, temperatures drop down, and not just that, we're measuring rainfall here to start summer. Look at that. By Saturday, a chance of some rain up here on the North Coast, north of Shasta, north of 80 may see a few isolated showers, but closer to the Bay Area, this is going to reinforce the cooling pattern, which arrives on Thursday, takes us into the weekend. Showers missing us, but the cooling will not as we head into the weekend. So this 2-day warm-up eventually takes us to the 70s or close to it around San Francisco on Wednesday. Then we drop back down, and valley temperatures feeling more like summer, certainly by Wednesday with more 90s in reach. And then we cool down as we head into next weekend. Summer officially rolling in Friday evening, same time as that big Giants game. Then we got a nice weekend ahead with 70s and 80s as we head towards Saturday and Sunday.
Giants or Red Sox here on NBC.
It's going to be a good one to watch.
Our new player will be in the uniform as well.
Yes, he will.
Thanks, Rob. Up next, protecting firefighters, not from the flames necessarily, but from what they're wearing on the job. A Bay Area lawmaker looking to find a safer solution. Stay with us. Lawmakers are spotlighting a new bill aimed at protecting firefighters, not necessarily from smoke and flames, but from the uniforms they wear. Cancer is the leading cause of death among firefighters, but the International Association of Firefighters says there's evidence that shows some of those cancers are caused by the harmful chemicals in their uniforms. Last year, our investigative unit here at NBC reported on how those chemicals are believed to have hurt firefighters in San Francisco. The chemical in question is known as PFAs. It's found in heavy jacket and pants that helps repel flames and resist extreme heat. They can be harmful when absorbed through the skin.
As firefighters, we accept the risks that come with the job. We knew about building collapses, we knew about smoke, we knew about the fire, but we never knew that our turnout gear was laced with PFAS chemicals. The very equipment that we use to keep others safe is making us sick.
Last year, San Francisco banned those so-called forever chemicals in firefighter turnouts uniforms. Those uniforms have to be replaced now by next year. As for the state bill, if it moves out of the Assembly, the Senate will vote on it in the coming weeks and could become law next year. Assuming that happens, the ban on those so-called forever chemicals in firefighter uniforms will go into effect in 2027. All right, let's take a look at downtown San Jose. Tomorrow, city council members will formally adopt the plan to install 5 new digital billboards. They approved that plan in February. The new displays are expected to go up at the Center for Performing Arts, the McHenry Convention Center, and 2 parking garages. They'll also remain dark from midnight to 6 a.m. It's expected to generate an estimated $20 million in revenue over the next 2 decades.
Well, it's hard to think about summer fun when you're feeling the squeeze of higher prices. Nearly 3/4 of people are worried that prices are rising faster than their incomes. That's according to a recent survey by AARP. But there may be places to save a little cash. Experts say it starts with making a little time to really look at your bank and credit card statements. And also looking at your subscriptions. Are you using them all? Experts say you should also compare your mobile plans against others. Sign up for loyalty plans where you actually shop and unsubscribe from retailers where you don't. And if you're looking for a big item, shop those holiday sales.
Up next here at 6 o'clock, not what you'd expect to see at your hotel. Look at that. The 6 feet long reptile that showed up. Stay with us.
And here's a look inside the control room at Rockefeller Center. Tom Yamas preparing for nightly news. One of the top stories, the revolt over tourists in Europe. Protesters even spraying visitors with water guns.
Okay, well, this is certainly a unique story at a hotel in Northern Virginia.
Officers in Fairfax County were called out this weekend because an alligator was wandering outside the hotel. As officers wrangled the 6-foot-long creature, they were told it was someone's pet. The person explained they were in the process of transporting their pet gator to a zoo. In the state of Virginia, owning an exotic reptile is a misdemeanor. No word on whether officers seized that animal.
Tonight at 7, state and national lawmakers certainly on edge after those attacks in Minnesota. We're talking to one of our local state lawmakers about his concern simply to do his job. And would you get in a car with a stranger for a cheap ride across the bay? We'll tell you about the grassroots push to bring back casual carpooling. Those stories and more coming up on our 7 o'clock news.
Up next on Nightly News, chilling details about the suspect's alleged plans to target more lawmakers in Minnesota and the woman who says she helped find that suspect. Tom Yamas is joining us from New York right now.